Alrighty then.
Nah, bro.
Yeah, okay.
It's 50 miles an hour. There's no splitting. There's indicating every time. They are, yes. None of these lanes are being split.
Splitting.
He's in the lane.
No, the problem is that for the viewers that can't see this, they're like, oh man, that was not 90.
That is 90. That's 90 something.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It's 86. It's not 90. It's not 90.
I have bad eyes.
You do. Just a little bit. Much better. What's up, guys? Welcome to today's video. Welcome to my channel. This is really going to be my intro video. This is going to be the video just describing why we're all here today. All right, so let's get right into it. My name is Anthony Lewis, and this channel is going to be talking about pretty much everything motorcycle related, although very specifically BMW motorcycle related. So just to give you a little bit of a background of why you will hopefully subscribe to my channel and like and watch my videos is me. So I'm going to give you a little quick background on myself. Long story short, and this is a story you can imagine I've told many people in my field of work, and you'll get different scopes and see my field of work and the kind of things that I'm able to do related to BMW motorcycles. But I was never, I always tell people I was never one of those kids. I didn't get a dirt bike for my birthday or for, any sort of gift. My mother would never put me on anything motorized with less than 4 wheels, and she wouldn't even put me on anything motorized with 4 wheels. So I never really had one of those backgrounds where it was just, itching to get a motorcycle come time for me to be able to afford one, for me to have a license, things like that. Realistically, I got into motorcycles because a friend of mine did. One day he showed up with a motorcycle at our job and, kind of gave me the helmet and the keys and said, this is how you do this, and go take it around the block and have fun and come back and tell me how cool my new bike is. And I did exactly that. And the next day I was looking for motorcycles, and then ironically right around that time, one of my coworkers different coworker was selling his motorcycle, so the stars all aligned, and that is how I came to own my first motorcycle. It just seemed really cool, and that's what got me. I want to say here, I do this because this is cool. That's really it. You have to think and enjoy what you do the most of, or else you're going to be miserable. And that got me into motorcycles. Like I was saying, my first motorcycle was a 2004 Honda CBR 600RR. It was all black, full Yoshimura exhaust. It was power commanded. It was dyno tuned. It had the the air filter upgrade. Way more bike than I needed. Way more bike than I should have been on for a first motorcycle. But who does anything right the first time? Which started me down the path of really liking motorcycles, getting into motorcycles. I really enjoyed that bike, and I kind of learned a few things the hard way on it. Definitely, knocked it over a couple silly times. Also, had my first, I want to say, accident on that motorcycle. I wiped out in the rain, and it's just due to inexperience. I was fine, I'm still here. But once I realized that it was something that I wanted to do, I decided I wanted to look into a new motorcycle. I wanted to look into something that was mine, something that I could start life with, versus kind of picking up where somebody else left off. And I always recommend, and you probably always hear people say, oh, don't get a new bike for your first bike. Well, this is technically my second bike. And for the guys that want to get new bikes for their first bikes, go for it. If it's in your means, and there's a lot of benefits to buying new bikes, and I'll get into those in other videos for sure, because that is a topic that I like talking about. It's a topic I guess asked a lot, I'm sure you can assume, at my job. So in comes BMW. At that point in time, I was actually working for the company as a technician on the automotive side. That's what I've always done by trade. Stopped a few years back when I got into the motorcycle industry, but that kind of put BMW on my radar for motorcycles. And walking past the motor department every day and looking at the bikes, it's like, okay, this is obviously where I want to be one day, but kind of down the road. I don't think I'm ready for one of these yet. So my next bike was a Triumph. My first brand new motorcycle was a Triumph. It was 20 2012 purchase. I want to say it was a 2011 leftover that I bought in 2012. And again, bought this bike with the buddy that originally bought his first bike, and we were both at the dealership buying new bikes, and he got a Ducati 848 Evo matte white with the red frame, and I got my Caspian Blue 2012 Daytona, 2011 leftover Daytona, and we both adored our bikes, and it was fantastic owning new machines because we're learning about the bikes. We've done all our homework on forums and YouTube videos, and it was amazing. Buying new bikes is fantastic, and I learned a lot in the process, things that I took down the road with me, but that was my first brand new bike, and this was me now making my statement. This was me getting into it because I chose this bike and I went with this brand, and this is the bike that I wanted to be on and ride, and this is the one that appealed to me. And also, seeing as my mom didn't really like motorcycles, she's British, the bike's British. It wasn't a coincidence. But anyway, it only earned me like a half of a brownie point. She still hated motorcycles, but she's much, much better now, seeing how responsible I am with them and how serious I take it. Because obviously this is a dangerous game, dangerous sport, dangerous hobby, whatever you want to call it. But I spent a few years on my Triumph, just kind of, again, expanding my knowledge. And that's also something I want to say is, on this channel, you're really just going to get my opinion from experiences that I've had, and the riding that I've done has taught me the things that I know. And other than that, I don't have 10, 20 odd, 30 odd years of experience that a lot of people do, that a lot of people that I talk to do. A lot of guys that I deal with day in and day out have much more motorcycle experience and riding time than I do. So please don't ever hold what I say as law, as fact. This is my opinion. I'm gonna be wrong. I'm often wrong, but I always try and correct myself and give you guys the best and most current and accurate information. So yeah, with my Daytona, I continued down the path of learning things sport bike and doing a lot of different rides, and I actually even did my first track day on that bike, and it was fantastic. I loved it. I thought that I was Valentino Rossi at the time, and then I looked at the pictures down the road, and I maybe had like 10 degrees of lean angle, but either way, I felt like the fastest guy on the track. And to me, it just solidified my roots deeper in motorcycle riding. I wanted to get more. I wanted to get more involved. I wanted to see what this world had to offer. This was all new to me. Again, I started riding motorcycles at 21. I'll be 30 this year, but regardless, this was one of these things that I just couldn't get enough of. And this is normally what happens to motorcycle riders and enthusiasts and people that get into it. Once you take that first step, that first twist of the wrist, it's all uphill or downhill from there, depending on how your perspective is. But from the Triumph, I had that for about a year, maybe 2 years, all the way actually up until 2014. 2014 was when I bought my first BMW. I bought a 2014 S1000 RR, or red, black, and white, and I'll see if I can maybe throw some pictures of the bikes I've had in this video, but fantastic machine. This is what I always called my first big boy bike. This was also my first leader bike, the previous bikes being in the 600 class, so this was all new. And we're talking ABS now in 2014. We're talking heated grips, ride modes, a quick shifter, traction control, wheelie control, all these things in a bike package to me just blew my mind. Obviously working for the brand, I wanted to endorse the brand. I appreciated the brand from the car side. I never just picked it as a good company to work for because they make good cars and I can make a lot of money. I've always endorsed things BMW. So when it came to deciding to buy another bike and get a new bike, it was a no-brainer of I should be riding a BMW. So in comes the RR, the S1000 RR, all 193 horsepower of it, and this thing was a machine. I only recently got rid of it, but it was such a good machine, and I have pictures of it everywhere. I've ridden that thing in different types of riding. I've been so many different places with it. I've done road trips, I've done track days, I've done rounds of CCS racing on it. Just a well-rounded bike, and I feel personally that I took that bike probably outside of its design range. What it was really put together to do, I did that and more. I took this thing on road trips. I did 3,011 miles exactly on that bike in 10 days, going through 6 states and 2 countries, including the US and Canada. I've done camping trips on it. I have all sorts of stuff, but long short of it was, this is the growth that got me to BMW, and I loved that bike, and I learned so much more on that bike. It was just an amazing machine. A lot of people, think that BMWs may either be too technical or just think that it's too much electronics, but that bike never failed me. I had that bike from new till recently last year when I got rid of it, and never gave me any issues. Just maintained it, and the thing was flawless. And if you're ever in the market for a first generation RR, I will highly endorse it. It's an amazing machine, But what I found was I was doing a little bit less road racing and a little bit less track days, and more road trips. It was almost harder for me to get to the track on a weekend than it would be for me to just do a road trip, for a weekend or for a couple days, or even if it's just a day trip. It was just easier for me to do, things like that, and also coordinate it with my friends, because the track life is a lifestyle. It's an expensive hobby. It's an expensive place to spend most of your motorcycle time. So my riding group decided, why not spend the same time spending a lot less money and just spending that time on the bike? Let's ride somewhere. I think the first ride I did on that motorcycle was from here to Montreal, and then it took me to Maine one year on a camping trip. But basically what I'm getting to is my riding is growing, and my riding style is growing. It still continues to grow. I always tell people, especially my clients, that motorcycling, I think that's right, it's not something that you learn and you've got in your back pocket. You will learn something every day you're on the bike, whether it's about your specific bike, whether it's about the way you ride, or whatever it is. You will continue to learn something about motorcycles every time you ride, up until the point where you stop riding. That's just my honest belief. And you know what, if you make it long enough to have learned everything, then come, I'm gonna buy you some coffee, and you can help me learn some of the things that you've picked up along the way. But that brings me to my current bike. Like I said, I was doing a lot of road trips. I'm gonna continue to do a lot of road trips, and I needed a bike that was more appropriate for it. In rides the 2019 R1250 GS HP. That's a mouthful. I never thought I was going to be a GS guy, and if you don't know what the GS is, or you'll hear me in my videos throw that term around. There's actually a lot of bikes in BMW's lineup, or a handful of bikes that are labeled the GS, but anytime somebody refers to the GS, we all know which one we're talking about. We're talking about the R, at this point, 1250 GS, 1200 GS back in the day, 1150 before that, but basically the GS is the big boy bike. It is the bike that put BMW on the map. It's what they call an adventure tourer, and that's my game plan. My game plan is to take it on adventure tours. So far, that bike has taken me effortlessly to Newfoundland and back. I did about 2,700 miles in 7 days, rode it partially through a hurricane, and camped on that as well. I don't bring anything on my trips that can't bungee cord or strap to the bike, and that was one of those decisions I made that was just going to make the type of riding that I'm currently doing a little bit easier. Sorry, my computer's turning off on me. I am at work, so I have to look like I'm working. I am working, and I want to work for you guys as well. This is why, or one of the reasons why I'm going to have the channel. So, long story short, I guess what I'm trying to say is, what's going to bring you here to Anthony Lewis's channel? Well, one of the things that I'm going to bring you in depth and I want to say behind the scenes views is kind of just what goes on day to day in my job, in the faculties that my job surround, and also all of the things that I end up doing with my job. So for instance, in a couple months, at the end of next month, I'll be doing BMW's Performance Off-Road School for a weekend. That's gonna be a 2-day course I'm gonna do with a bunch of my clients. I'm gonna bring that video to you guys, show you what the Performance School teaches us, especially on the motorcycle side, so stay tuned for that. And also just, unboxing videos when bikes first come in. This is gonna be a big year for motorcycles, especially in BMW. I know we've got the F900R coming out. That should be here next month, so I'm gonna get you guys an unboxing video of that. I'm gonna get you guys a road test video of that, a review, a bike review on that. We've got the F900 XR coming out. That's an all new bike for the segment as well. So that's a sport touring 900 cc bike. It's built off of the the F800 GS, but this again is an all new machine that BMW never had. So I'm gonna bring you unboxing videos of that, road test videos of that, bike reviews of that, give you my opinion. You know, because what I've noticed also is sometimes YouTube is the best place to get your information. This is where I've gotten a lot of mine. So why not put some of my information that I can get you guys, get for you guys out there. And then also, we're getting a new S1000 XR, so that's gonna be an all new bike, new motor, new frame, new electronics. That thing's gonna be wild because I have some experience on the S1000 XR, so I'm looking forward to riding that bike as well. And then towards the end of the year, providing everything goes smooth, we're gonna have that new R18 in stock, that new classic cruiser 1800cc boxer motor, that big bike. That thing's gonna be very, very exciting, and I can't wait to unbox it. I can't wait to ride it. I can't wait to give you guys my opinion on it, on top of everything else that kind of encompasses motorcycling, especially motorcycling from a dealership perspective. I'll do my best to get you guys information on anything that comes up. Anything that comes up, I get asked a lot of questions, you know, from trading questions to financing questions to gear review questions. You know, gear is a very important part of this, and you'll always see me decked out when it comes to gear. I take it very, very seriously. So I think that's about it for the most part. Thank you guys again for coming to my channel, watching this video. Again, this is my intro. There will be many, many more videos to come. And like I said, if you like what you see, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.